Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Happy 3-day weekend. It's President's Day weekend. We are off on Monday, so if you're trying to log into your system come Monday morning, don't start throwing things into your monitor. This monitor sucks, the computer sucks, my platform sucks, we are closed. So be gentle, be kind to your platform. All right, guys. So hope everybody's doing really well. Guys, do me a favor, take 1 second out. If you like the content, if you like what we're doing, click a like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff that social media tells me to say so I can get people to like the video. See, very strong with the social media game. Guys, just a quick reminder, last call. If you are planning to join us this week, click the link below. You have 2 days left to kind of save for this trial period. The next trial is going to be at Thanksgiving. So if you are interested in pivots, take advantage, and I will look forward to working with you. So let's talk about the take. We are now a step throw away from all-time highs on the NASDAQ 100. Okay, now keep this in mind. This is with majority of mega cap names, heavyweights, darlings, right? Cult names, really disappointing this quarter. And if you look at the December 16 highs, the QQQs put up a channel for 539.15. If you look at Friday's highs, we got to 538.84. So for the NASDAQ to power up or its next leg up and take advantage of this month and change worth of consolidation, the Qs just need to close over 539 for the next leg up. Again, is it going to be a straight line? Absolutely not. Nothing in the market is a straight line. But the point is the bulls have been doing an absolutely incredible job. Body blow by DeepSeek. Who else? Remember that? Me either, right? Nobody remember that. Remember all the tariff talks? Every single second, tariff this, tariff that. The markets gets, a shell shock, gets kicked in the neck. Yeah, we don't remember that either because the market has been tone deaf to it for the last week or so. You have CPI data came out hotter than usual for January. The market didn't care. It took it higher. The PPI came out the next day. Doesn't make a difference what the reading was. The market kept on going higher. And if you look at for the week, the S&P gained 1.5%. The Dow added 0.5%. And the NASDAQ, tech heavy, again, tech heavy is the name of the game, rose nearly 2.6%. So kudos to the bulls. They're negating bad news. They're negating geopolitical news. They're negating bad data. Everything under the sun. And here we are, steps away from achieving all-time highs. Last name to come out with earnings, I believe, is going to be the following week. I think it's 2 weeks when NVDA reports. And it really does show you from the technical point of view. If you've been watching this broadcast for a while, my importance, we always talk about what happens when the stock reclaims the 50-day moving average, right? That's the birth of the trend. You see a constant example over and over again. And if you look at the charts, again, it's very, it's counterproductive to sit here for 20 minutes to tell you how good the market is. We know how good the market is. We understand the dynamics of it. We understand that every single piece of data right now is bullish. Anytime they could change. But if you look at the names that are starting to come back from the bottom, because again, the problem was it wasn't a mass participation. We talked about leadership from other names like a PLTR, so forth and so on. Even a name like Robinhood came out of really good earnings this week. But we saw the winds of change go back into the old guard, right? Apple, right? Take a look at Apple. Apple, we talked about in the last couple of days. It reclaimed back intermediate supply. Then on Thursday, I recorded a video on Thursday because I didn't record a video on Tuesday. We talked about, hey, if Apple can confirm the previous day's high, we should go higher. Again, here's the reclaim of the 50-day moving average, and here's the continuation day. NVIDIA this week was awesome, right? It was absolutely awesome. It had this big 7-day run. It rested for 2 days. It held the 5-day moving average. It reclaimed back the 50-day moving average, and the stock went from 135 all the way to 139. This is just the beginning of the run. You can see it. They're going to probably try to run this thing ahead of its earnings. This is NVIDIA and Apple. Anytime you get weakness, right? Anytime you get weakness on those two names, especially soft opens, take advantage of those soft opens. Both of these stocks are just day 2 above the 50-day moving average, which is the birth of a trend, not a trade, the birth of a trend. So use any weakness, especially defending back into the 50-day moving average, as an area to initiate position, especially if you're a swing trader. And obviously any close below the 50-day is your exit for the stock. So really good productive action there. Meta, what was the last time you saw the stock go red, or at least close red? This is now 20 consecutive days since the stock broke out, since the stock came out with earnings, that the stock has closed green. 20 consecutive days, guys. That's not a misprint. That's 20 consecutive days. Absolutely phenomenal. And you could tell here every single time it gets to the 5-day, right? Look how many times the stock has been, price action has been defended on the 5-day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Talking about 9 out of the last 11 days, they've defended the 5-day moving average. So when is the back test going to start on Meta? Eventually we'll get tired, right? The back test will eventually start when it starts losing 1 or 2 days worth of channels and loses the 5-day moving average. But as of right now, it's an absolute magic carpet ride. Amazon. Okay, Amazon was very, very close to losing the 50-day moving average on Friday. How do I know? Because I shorted it below the 50-day moving average. Only went down like 30, 40 cents, and it snapped back and I wound up losing 50 cents. Not the end of the world, but the point is it actually has held the 50-day moving average. I'm still going to watch it for 1 or 2 more days. There was a very notable buyer there, right? It was a very notable buyer there at the bottom of the range. So I didn't want to fight with him, got out, lost 50 cents on the trade. That's fine. The most important part is when you're watching a trade, you can see a very notable buyer over and over again, and they just can't knock down the stock depending on, regardless of the level. You really know there is more of an institutional buyer there sitting there. Could be a pension fund, index fund, mutual fund. Who the hell knows? The one thing that you cannot fight with, I don't care how great the setup is a motivated reload buyer or seller. Somebody could have literally turned around and said, Fidelity could have turned around and said, there's obviously speculation, let's buy 2 million shares of Amazon on the 50-day moving average. There's nothing I can do to get the stock lower, but I still want to watch it going into next week. Affirm, all right? Affirm came out with an absolute great quarter, right? Absolute beautiful quarter. We talked about it on the Thursday night video. If it starts getting above the earnings highs, it can start going higher. And again, that's exactly what happened on Friday. It closed right above the earnings highs. It was a nice little pivot there at 80 towards the end of the day. Closed literally right at the highs of the day. We should see more higher prices. Again, if you are looking for a good entry on a firm, just like with Meta, you see how it keeps on holding the 5-day, right? You see it, orange line bounce, orange line bounce, orange line bounce, right? That is the 5-day. That's the shortest term sentiment for the stock. So any strong stock, especially in a massive uptrend, you want to try to, if you don't buy the breakouts, if you don't buy it on strength, you want to try to buy it into rising 5-day support. So it's holding up very, very well. MSTR, keep an eye on MSTR for this week. Bitcoin has been doing pretty okay. Here's where it gets interesting. There were massive buyers coming in the afternoon, and they were pounding the February 28th, so the end of the month, right? The last day of the month. They were pounding the 228 $400 calls. Well, we have 2 weeks, and the stock is still below the 50-day moving average. Well, I want to watch it. Usually the MSTR is not really something that I look for. But boy, oh boy, look at the last time it reclaimed the 50-day moving average. The stock went from 355 to 404 in 4 sessions, right? So we're still below, right? We're still below the 50-day moving average. But now that I know that they're pounding the end of the month $400 calls and the 50-day moving average is right here, right? It's right here. It's about 10, 15 points away. If we can get a close back above the 50-day moving average, this strikes a green light, the same way it did with Apple, same thing it did with NVIDIA. Tesla, right? Tesla has been an absolute godsend of a trader, both ways, right? Both ways. If you've been watching this broadcast, we did really well with this thing when it lost the 50-day moving average. The stock got absolutely hammered. And then the stock, and then sellers just got tired. That's what happens. Sellers just get tired. And now it's starting to look pretty good, right? We caught it to the upside as well this week. It reclaimed the 5-day moving average. It reclaimed let's see, what is this right here? The 100-day moving average. And it stopped right on the 10-day EMA. As you can see, it's not anywhere close out of the woods yet. For me to get bullish overnight, right, on a swing side or a potential multiple day side, I would need to see Tesla above the 50-day moving average. Obviously, any close above the 50-day moving average, that's a green light. But guys, we're still 50 points away from the 50-day moving average, but we all know Tesla, that could happen in 3 sessions. But for now, we're looking for baby steps. What I do like, what I've seen now in Tesla for the last 4 days, and again, remember, this could change at any time, but it has put in 4 straight days of higher lows. So here's a low, right? Here's the low on 211. Here's a higher low, here's a higher low, and here's a higher low, right? So it got rejected off the 10-day moving average. I'm going to watch a potential reclaim back of the February 10 highs. If they could reclaim back the February 10 highs, then we're looking for another measured move back to the 65 EMA, then back to the 20 EMA, and ultimately baby steps get all the way back up to here. Any close above the 50-day, like I said, is the absolute gold mine of standards. So that's exactly what we want to watch. Robinhood, right? A buyer came in. If you saw the broadcast, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, there was a buyer that came in for 2,000 of the Feb 61 calls ahead of earnings. Well, they got paid off, right? They got paid off here. If you look at the 60-minute view, it is getting tighter and tighter. This is now 2 days worth of consolidation. I definitely want to watch Robinhood for next week. If it can start getting back above this top of the channel here, it could start waking up. It looks exactly like PLTR did, right? It looked exactly like PLTR did. PLTR had a good earnings, right? Came in for 2 days and finally exploded on the way up. So I definitely want to watch Robinhood this week. If it could start building above the earnings highs, it can take off as well. DXCM, right? DXCM is not really a name that I follow, okay? If you look at the weekly view of DXCM, okay, you could tell they had a really, really bad day, okay, on July the 22nd. I'm guessing it's probably earnings, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But they had a really, really horrible day in July. You could see the stock went from 113 all the way down to 62, right? Usually I wouldn't look at a chart like this that got blown up on whatever the case may be. But the stock has been kind of grinding higher now since that blow-up day on July the 22nd. If you look at the daily chart, right, this is now the first close over this intermediate supply. And you can see the bottom two volume bars have been starting to get expanding. So when you look at a range and it finally gets back above the next supply zone, I want to keep an eye on it. Is it my top focus? Is this something that I'm dying to trade? No, but if there's nothing else that's confirming, I definitely will keep an eye on this thing. So keep an eye on DXCM coming in for this week as well. And Google is interesting. Okay, Google is interesting. Remember, Google did not have a bad quarter. Okay, they did not. Okay, they had a bad reaction to the quarter because the stock had a big run up. If you guys remember, they actually beat the top line. They beat the bottom line. And now we're kind of starting to see the same type of formation that we saw the dead cat bounce so far deemed on Tesla. We're starting to see it with Google as well. So you have a low, a higher low, a higher low. I want to see this thing get back above the 65-day. If it could start getting back to the 65-day, there's a tradable bounce coming, right? There's a tradable bounce the same way Tesla did. There's a tradable bounce going into the 50-day moving average. Again, you can see it's still below. Obviously, any close above like 191 on Google, reclaims back the 50-day moving average. Now, again, that number is going to change the longer it stays below. But as of going into Tuesday's session, I was about to say Monday, but Monday we're off. It needs really a close above 91 to really get it going, or at least set it free. But at least you can see variable areas that you can take advantage from baby steps. Maybe $2 here, $1 here, $1.50 here. But you could start seeing the light and then into the tunnel. We did see some March 195 and 200 call buyers come in on Friday. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if they could kind of shake off the little stigma it had with sour reaction to earnings and start moving higher again. So, again, we're shaping up. I don't care what kind of trader you are, what stocks you're trading. I went through a lot of charts over the weekend. It's snowing here. I'm losing my mind. I ran out of things to talk to my wife and kids about. We've been all, kind of stuck in the house after basketball training. So I literally have nothing left to say to anybody. So I've been looking for a lot of charts, right? A lot of charts. I can really tell you is no matter if you're trading small, mid cap, or mega cap stocks, there's a lot of really good value out there. The question is, are you putting enough work, right? Are you putting enough work to identify what suits your sweet spot? If the answer is yes, you should really have some really good value going into Tuesday. So that's it. That's all I got. For all you guys who are joining us, guys, again, take advantage of 2 days left throughout the weekend. Take advantage of the trial. I will see you. Look forward to speaking with you. Look forward to hearing from you. And I look forward to working with you. Guys, God bless. Have a great weekend. And I will see you all on Tuesday. Take care.